AFTV, Sheroy, big win today. We needed to win that game. Oh, we needed to not lose that game. I think there was a lot of us before the stream saying even a draw would be a decent result, considering we lost away in the last game at Lons. But a lot of us were sort of looking and saying, Mikel Arteta, you know, away from home in the Champions League, you haven't been great, or in Europe, you haven't been great so far. What can you do against a team with a lot of European pedigree? And he passed it with flying colours. That was a great result.
Yeah, and before the game, I know there were a lot of people saying that it was a must not lose. But if you remember, on the Starting 11 show, I said it was a must win. And I felt it was a must win because if you look at the other games that are coming up in this group right now, this game, we have a good gap before Sheffield. All right, the other games, I believe the next time we play Sevilla, immediately after a tough trip to Newcastle. That's going to take some of those legs. All right, so you don't want that to be a must-win when you're trying to rectify an historic error. You're then looking at the away game against PSV. I think that's sandwiched in between Villa and Brighton. They're both very good teams. If you have those three, and that's a must-win, you're applying unnecessary pressure to yourself, the squad, the fans, the lot, right? So that's why I said this was a must-win. And the other reason I felt it was a must-win, Rob, is when we were looking at the City game, we wanted to prove to ourselves as a team and as a fan base that we could beat Manchester City. All right, it's not necessarily that was make or break in terms of the season. It was psychological. We lost away against Lons, as you said, and as you said, we didn't have a great European record. What this showed is that you can go to a team with good European pedigree and not just win, but assert your philosophy, play attractive football, and if they get a goal back, you can dig in deep and you can ultimately extinguish any threat that they have, right? We rode the atmosphere pretty well. So that's why this was so satisfying.
Yep, and some great goals in the game. Brilliant to watch, and Gabriel Jesus at the heart of both of them.
Yeah, Gabriel Jesus, I mean, that guy turned Sevilla into ceviche today, man, the way that guy was playing. He was electric, and I've said this before, no indictment with regard to Eddie Nketiah, but there was a lot of talk, right, when Eddie Nketiah started the season and Gabriel Jesus came back from injury, whether Jesus automatically takes that place. And today's another example as to exactly why he does take that place. I completely understand that he's not the traditional 9, but if you look at the first goal when he plays Martinelli in, he gets pulled back in our half. A lot of players who don't have the confidence to do what he's about to do, they go down, Rob. They try and get the opponent booked, they go down, they take the free kick. He didn't do that. He stayed on his feet, spun his man, and put the ball through. Spun two men and put the ball through to Martinelli. Martinelli and Jesus today, too fast, too furious. And if you're looking at both of them before they scored had very similar chances that they missed. Martinelli's one-on-one, you know, when we're saying he should have sat the keeper down, he learns from his mistakes in game, shows composure, buries it. Jesus, if you remember, he stunned one and hit it over the bar, had a very similar chance for the second one, a slightly more difficult angle, doesn't make the same mistake again. And I like seeing people learn from their mistakes throughout the course of a season, but I love seeing people learn from their mistakes in game. But the reason they were able to do that is because they got more chances. Historically, when we've missed chances, we've been sitting there going, we had to take that because the other one didn't come. We unlocked their defence a number of times today, and we were good value for the 2-goal lead. I'm pretty upset that we conceded a goal from a set piece because I was saying this on the watch-along. We had to do a lot and create elements of magic to score our goals. Their goal was pretty easy for them. And I felt the same throughout the course of the season. We have to do a lot right to score our goals. They don't necessarily have to do that much. But look, today, I will take it 2-1. You look at the other teams in Europe, the big teams that are playing slightly lesser teams. They're not annihilating those teams, Rob. The Champions League is called the Champions League for a reason. We fought so hard to get into the Champions League because it's a tough league to get into. It's a tough competition to get into. And it shows. But so far, we're standing the test.
Yeah, we're making ourselves at home in the Champions League. We're starting to find our feet in it after that defeat against the Lons. And now we're in control of the group. Surely you'd be looking on it and thinking, nah, we should be pretty confident after 3 games, or, you know, with 2 home games to come, that we can get through this. Yeah,
pretty confident, but getting through for me isn't enough. I want to top this group, and I don't just say, I'm not one of those fans that has this sense of entitlement. I completely concede that we've been out of the Champions League for a very long time, and we weren't exactly stunners in the Europa League, but we're Arsenal Football Club. We took Man City almost the whole way last season. If you look at what Michael Owen was saying at the PSV game when he was commentating, he said, look, I'm looking around Europe, and aside from the obvious ones like City, Madrid and so forth, Arsenal should be right up there. And that's why I think we need to top that group to show absolutely everyone that we are right up there and we do mean business. Now, we do have 2 home games. Perfect. I don't want anything riding on that last game. Go through top of the group and you play the percentages. I know a lot of people will say, yeah, if you go through second, you're more likely to get a tough opponent. Quite right. You know, you could get a tough opponent if you top the group, but you're less likely to. I want us to go the distance, and we went one step closer today in doing that.
One last thing, Raya watch.
Yeah, look, Raya watch, it's a difficult one because today was a mixed bag, and I think a lot of his performances have been a mixed bag. You see glimpses of why Arteta wants him there, and he shows elements of composure at times, but then he does look shaky at others, right? He had one, I think it hits his wrist or he doesn't quite punch it right, and that's, I think, at 2-1, late in the game, and it just goes over the crossbar. There's another one that looks pretty unforced where he doesn't even look like he's looking where he's releasing the ball, and I think that does come with pressure, and it's not just the pressure of playing for a big club, it's also the pressure of you've usurped a player that was a fan favourite and was a player favourite and that a lot of people love. You know, I said on the watch along, it's kind of like going on a date with a girl when you know she's still in love with her ex. It's tough. You know what I mean? And you've really got to up your game, and that pressure can make or break you. But David Raya, look, we have to give him a bit more time. But can I conclusively say that he's better than Ramsdale and he should be the number one? Not yet.